Howdy, folks. Thought I would do another troubleshooting slash hopefully repair video on a VHD player here. This one is one of the better ones. This is a Victor HD-700TS. This is, for all intents and purposes, identical to the Victor HD 9500, which is a really top-of-the-line unit. It's probably their second most top-of-the-line unit, right behind the HD-V1, which was their QX player. So, story behind this, I got a job lot of English language instructional VHDs. I still need to go through them and digitize them. I only have one, but this was the player that was included in that lot. I guess that's what they played those discs back on. And the whole package had to get, because these discs are like in massive cases, right? So the whole package had to get split up. I was able to get it split up across 3 packages, and each one shipped individually via UPS. And this got its own little box. Even came with a remote, which is currently back inside the house. But unfortunately, this player is not without its problems, and I'll show that by turning it on. Alright, so now it's much easier to see the issue. When you insert side 1, this should be blue. It's still gray. That is to say, this thing is only showing in black and white. And I've also had an issue with this where it skips a bit when like starting playback and such, but it will like stabilize itself if you let it go for a bit. I still haven't tried this with like a better stylus or anything, but we'll see if the issues are related. Okay, so now it's stabilized. And yeah, that should be in glorious color. It's not. This whole thing is playing in black and white. And if I do the chapter search, that's when it starts the chapter playback. It will still skip around a bit and then stabilize again. Again, and don't know if that's the stylus like going wonky or what, but yeah. By any event, the first issue we have to address here is why is it playing back in black and white and not in color? Okay, so with the player upside down, and I already have the top cover off, just take off these screws around the perimeter here. Screwdriver on the bit. Alright, so here's the here are the goods here. So this board here is your system control. This here is for like the radio, so that's not part of the VHD playback. This here is where the signal processing is. So this is where the sound, the video, all that's where all of that is processed, and that would be the video converter IC that spits out the final video. So, where to begin? Now, let me just kind of pull the curtains back and reveal, my what I'm thinking here, because I actually did manage to fix that color issue on the 9500 that one of my pals gave me. Now, that 95 is still having other issues, like that seem to be system control related, but the color thing I was able to fix on that. And I'm hoping that it's going to be the same thing here, because considering that service literature on these things basically don't exist, aside from like a few specific ICs, you kind of are flying blind whenever you look at the electronics on these things. So if this is going to be a known fault, then that would be something nice to know, so that we can save more of these VHD players. First thing I want to do, this is going to be more of a general maintenance thing. These pads on the board here, in general, these can go, over time, they can go conductive. And when they're right above small signal stuff, that's going to cause issues. So let me, hopefully, I'm getting a screwdriver to just scrape them off by the adhesive. I hope they come off without too much of a fight. Well, this one's yeah, that one did leave some residue behind. I can always come back and just give it a scrub with isopropyl. Yeah, because you can really only get like part of it off, and then once it's peeled back, that's when you can really scrub away the adhesive. This one's coming off. Like the other ones. This guy is dirty. Okay. This here is the power supply, so if you do discharge those caps, be careful, because they can still pack a punch after the player is off. In fact, I think I'll avoid. I don't think I need to do that one, because it's not over. That sensitive of an area. Over here. You almost have you. Okay, this is more general maintenance. I am not expecting this thing to jump back to full color when I'm done with it here. But okay, might be as best as I can do before I get cleaning supplies out. Reminds me, I should turn my soldering iron on. Should I attack that with the toothbrush now? Why not? How clean my brushes that I just leave out. So I leave two out because they've been getting pretty nasty. Like that one should be fine. I just don't want to get like old crud on the board. Okay, that should be fine. If it doesn't really improve anything, I won't bother. Yes, I'm good, I suppose. We'll see some. Okay, that's pretty good. Again, this one won't really affect much, so I'll just avoid that now, since those caps are probably still charged. Yeah, that's still Okay. I'm keeping that, so there's just an empty caddy that I keep around for testing like this, where I don't need to worry about losing a disc by doing stuff like this. But that should be blue, still not. When I was working on that 9500, I'm going to recreate what I was doing. So I was just kind of messing around with my scope, just seeing if I could find any signals or anything. It's on 10x, so very, very high input impedance, very, very low capacitance on the tip of the probe. When I was in this area on the board, watch what happens. Yeah, okay. So my probe is on the same trace as a crystal. Now I don't. Again, I still am not sure of the actual how this board works, but there's a crystal here that's attached, and it's on the same trace as a variable capacitor. F, so small f, capital SC adjustment. I don't know what that's for, but whatever it is, it's attached. It's attached to the color here. So let me get that out. Let me shut this off. Disconnect power. So this section of the circuit here, we have a crystal, we have a small ceramic cap, and then that goes to the trimmer cap. I'm going to pull the small ceramic out, see how that tests. I bet you it's open, and it's not like the fault of the crystal or anything like that. I bet you it's this little ceramic here. And once I touch up the joints and get my desoldering station, and as my desoldering station warms up, I'll explain as best as I can recall what the let me just retouch the joints on everything here. Okay, that didn't happen to fix it, right? It wasn't just a bad joint. Nope. Okay. So generally with crystals, you'll see like a capacitor of like some picofarads tied to it. That's to get it to more or less vibrate a little bit harder. Again, the engineering part of it is kind of escaping my memory right now, but basically you get the crystal, put a little bit of load on the crystal to get it to work harder. What happens when I'm putting my probe here, the probe is not like you're putting something of zero capacitance in your circuit. Even at times 10, you're putting something that's only how many picofarads into your circuit, and that's going to provide, no matter what, that's going to provide just a tad bit of a load on the circuit. What's happening when I put my 10x probe on this area here, again, if this capacitor is at fault, which I'm pretty sure it is, it's kind of substituting as the load for the crystal, so it's jumping back to life whenever I put the probe on that area there. So I'm going to pull the capacitor out, make sure that it's actually open, and then I'm going to hopefully find a replacement. I still have replacements. I didn't expect to be admittedly, I didn't expect to be using my bag of ceramic caps, but looks like that day's come. It's like the joke, kind of like the joke with the like when you're fixing something with your dad and you're that needs specific like however blank plywood, and he's like, "Oh my god, I have it!" It's like something that he's had in his like arsenal for like decades, and he finally gets to use it. This is what it feels like. Like I can finally use that bloody ceramic there that I have. So the desoldering's still warming up. To actually get this board, because how this board works, the pickup board is on the side here, and this board is on a hinge with that board. The I believe it's the bridge rectifier, maybe like a couple other components. That's held in by a screw here, which I just took out. You have these plastic tabs all around here. Now it's on a hinge, and you can kind of gain access to the underside there. I really wish there was a way to get this thing into service position so that you can properly take signal readings and voltage measurements as a disc is playing, but I still don't know of a good way to do that. I'm looking at capacitor C453 here. It's next to crystal 451. Sorry. Okay. Trace. Okay, that should be good. Put the thing that's 700 degrees around the bench. Hinge. Swing the board out. It's not that one, it's this one. It's this little fucker here. Okay, so here's the cap. This is a small guy too. This is, so the reading here, it's not going to pick up, but it does have a 4 on there, right? It's not 0.4, yeah, it's a 4. So there should be 4 picofarads. Putting in here is way, way easier than using, because I know my multimeter has a capacitor mode, but this one you just slide it into the slot, make sure it's got a good grip, and it's pretty much good. No unknown or damaged. And with this, I always play by baseball rules. 3 strikes and you're out. Because you always want to make sure that you're not, that was just a pointed back connections and whatnot. And the battery here, 6.9 volts. It says it's okay, but maybe I should take care to replace it at some point in time. Because like with multimeters, your battery will only go down so much in voltage, and you'll end up with faulty readings. This one is saying it's okay, so the battery's okay. The capacitor, this guy, opened. Now here I didn't bother adjusting that trimmer capacitor just from the experience I had yesterday. I went to, because I noticed that when I put the probe in this area, the color went back. I still noticed that I could not get the color back just by working that trimmer capacitor. This is only like fine-tuning the frequency. That capacitor is actually applying load to the crystal, and that's where, and without that capacitor, we're losing the magic. So let me go to my stockpile of ceramics. Yeah, so fortunately for me, I'm still considered a young buck, so my vision is still there. But if you're an older gentleman watching, The number, I imagine the numbers here are going to be next to impossible for you to read because they're really like small and faded on the skin here. Let's see, 75, 68. Let's try those first. One of those. Let's try the 68 because that's closer to the 4 picofarads. If the capacitance is too high, then you're going to swing the. Then now you're going to put way too much load on the crystal, and it's going to, you know, not going to work. So that's this guy test. Still make sure that's good and whatnot. Excuse me. Just taking this time. Still it's measuring 73 picofarads. Let's see how. Let me just temporarily apply power here. Kind of fidget with the capacitor in the socket and see if that'll give color back. Oh! That'll fix the problem. Let's get the iron on here. So we'll get this replacement in here. And if my I should say, if my explanation of what the capacitor's role is on the crystal was wrong, please like correct me in the comments. I'm by no means expert on this. You know, everything I learned, well, most everything I learned from about electronics, I learned on my own. I did end up taking like a couple classes at my university, you know, at the end of my undergrad career because I was really getting into electronics and whatnot. I thought it'd be fun. It was fun. But if I get any explanation wrong, then please, you know, say so in the comments. You know, give the correct explanation so that we can all learn, and more so I can learn from, because I'm still learning. It's every day, bro. And I keep learning. So get your dikes out. Just toss them. Okay. Might as well just get the joint reflow. Now that we know the player is gonna, at least the on-screen display is gonna be in color. I'll flip this over because this. Okay, why isn't that going? Come on. Okay, hopefully the color there is attached to the actual disc playback. It should be, but again, you still don't really know how this player, the electronics here work. So you got the disc plugged in. Let me get the stylus back in too. So I did take that out just because I was gonna mostly have it on its upside down. We got color. And yeah, with no disc in, that part's gray. And we have some side 2 in. The screen. Alright, well, here's the real moment of truth about how it's going to look when it plays back a disc. I fixed it! Oh, that feels great. That feels great. Alright, so, if you have a VHD, one of these Victor players, the high-end ones, this one, the 9300, the 9500, I don't know if the V1 has the same circuit underneath. I have one waiting for me at the Zen Market warehouse, so I'll know shortly, within the month, how it's going to play. But if you get one of these one of these chassis Victor players, and it's playing in black and white, replace that 4 picofarad capacitor on the board there. I already forgot what the heck it was, which one it was, but I'll put it on the screen which one it was. That one has to get replaced. Like, I don't know what else is really different on here than the 9500. There's an IMD on the front here. Now again, I'll turn that down. Now again, this came with a lot of English language instructional discs that I'm going to get up on YouTube sometime soon. So it sounds like something you could hook up to like a PC or some shit like that, and because those have like stop codes and all that. I'm guessing this was used in conjunction with like a computer system for people to practice their English on. That's my guess, but it's good to know that the stylus on here works too. So that was all intertwined, both the color and like it wouldn't center the positioning right too. So I guess that's related. If you were to look at I'm just kind of rambling at this point. The repair is over. It seems like everything else on here works. But if you were to have looked at the stylus as it was doing that crazy stuff at the beginning, you would see the arm like jut back and forth. So, but it's working well. These things, I always feel like this chassis has great colors and all that. That's why I prefer using these, even though they are very kind of sensitive to skips. Well, this disc has been okay. So, one thing I should add while I'm talking about these is that, and I'll be sure to do it before I, put all the screws back in. There are 4 power transistors on the bottom end in the power supply. Though, whenever you have one of these open, it's a good idea to reflow the joints on those, because of my 9300 player, there was a time where it would kind of intermittently like cut in and out of consciousness, so to say. Whereas like you will be in the middle of a disc and it will like just stop all of a sudden, and then you will have to wait for it like cool down and such before you get the it to reset. That was because one of the joints on one of the power transistors in the power supply, one of the joints went cold. So reflowing that, the player has never given me another issue. That's something to keep in mind when working on these things, whenever you get them. But I'll keep it on for like 20 or so minutes. Maybe I'll grab another disc, bring it out here, maybe watch a little movie. But I think this thing, so far, it's good to go. So thank you for watching, and I hope this was very informative. Hope that we can keep more of these things up and running for the future, because this is a pretty neat format and all. So, that's it. Take care.